The investigation into the murder of former Bafana Bafana captain Senzo Meyiwa has taken a dramatic new turn as authorities uncover potentially groundbreaking evidence hidden within the digital footprints of those closest to the case. Nearly a decade after the shocking killing that stunned the nation, forensic experts working with the South African Police Service have reportedly recovered deleted communications from the phones of singer Kelly Khumalo and her sister Zandie that may fundamentally alter the trajectory of this long-stalled investigation. These digital breadcrumbs, painstakingly reconstructed from cloud servers and cellular network backups, allegedly contain timestamps, geolocation data, and message content that contradict key aspects of the official narrative surrounding that fateful October evening in Vosloorus. According to multiple law enforcement sources speaking on condition of anonymity, the recovered data includes a series of brief but suspicious phone calls between Kelly Khumalo's number and that of a known person of interest in the hours immediately following the shooting. While these calls were initially dismissed as insignificant due to their short duration, each lasting less than a minute, investigators now believe they may represent coordinated attempts to establish alibis or synchronize stories. Even more damning are the allegedly recovered text messages referencing Meyiwa in what authorities interpret as coded language, with one particular exchange from earlier on the day of the murder reportedly alluding to brewing tensions. Digital forensic specialists have spent months authenticating these communications, tracing metadata trails, and verifying their origins before presenting findings to the National Prosecuting Authority. The breakthrough reportedly came when protected witness provided access to a previously unknown iCloud account containing years-old data that had escaped earlier scrutiny. This treasure trove of digital evidence allegedly places both Khumalo's sisters in direct communication with individuals now considered prime suspects at critical times surrounding the murder. Cell tower records corroborate these findings, showing device movements that contradict some witnesses' accounts of their whereabouts that evening. Legal experts caution, however, that while compelling, such digital evidence alone may prove insufficient without concrete physical corroboration. The defense teams for any potential accused have already signaled they will challenge the admissibility of this evidence, arguing potential privacy violations and questioning the integrity of the chain of custody for data recovered nearly a decade after the fact. Complicating matters further are persistent inconsistencies in Zandie Khumalo's various accounts of what transpired in the Vosloorus house that night. As one of only a handful of witnesses to the actual shooting, her testimony has always been central to the case. Yet investigators have identified multiple discrepancies between her initial statements and subsequent retellings. These inconsistencies, combined with the newly uncovered digital evidence, have led authorities to re-examine every aspect of the crime scene with fresh eyes. Ballistics reports are being cross-referenced with the digital timelines, while forensic accountants have been brought in to trace any unusual financial transactions that may have occurred in the aftermath. The Meyiwa family, while cautiously optimistic about these developments, has expressed frustration at the slow pace of justice. Senzo Meyiwa, the slain footballer's brother, recently told reporters that while the new evidence gives them hope, the family has endured too many false dawns over the years to celebrate prematurely. This sentiment echoes throughout South Africa's justice watchdog community, where many point to the Meyiwa case as emblematic of systemic failures in handling high-profile crimes. Legal analysts note that the passage of time presents both challenges and opportunities. While memories fade and some evidence degrades, technological advancements in digital forensics can breathe new life into cold cases. As the Hawks investigative unit prepares what many believe will be imminent arrests, the nation watches with bated breath. The potential implications extend far beyond the single case, as the outcome could set important precedents for how digital evidence is treated in South African courts, particularly when dealing with information recovered years after its creation. Prosecutors face the delicate task of building a case strong enough to withstand both legal challenges and the intense public scrutiny that will undoubtedly accompany any trial. With careers on the line and the specter of one of South Africa's most notorious unsolved crimes hanging over proceedings, the pressure on all involved has never been greater. Meanwhile, the Khumalo sisters have maintained their long-standing position of innocence, though neither has yet addressed the specific allegations stemming from the recovered communications. Their legal representatives have dismissed the latest developments as a desperate attempt by investigators to salvage a faltering case, accusing authorities of selectively interpreting digital artifacts to fit a predetermined narrative. This stance has found some support among civil liberties advocates, who warn against over-reliance on digital evidence that could be taken out of context or manipulated. The coming weeks promise to be pivotal as prosecutors weigh whether they have gathered enough evidence to bring charges that will stick. Inside the NPA's offices, teams of attorneys are reportedly working around the clock to evaluate the strength of case, acutely aware that any misstep could see another high-profile investigation collapse in courts. For the detectives who have lived with this case for nearly a decade, the current flurry of activity represents what may be their last, best chance to solve a murder that has haunted South Africa's collective consciousness. As one investigator put it privately, "The truth has been hiding in plain sight all along. We just needed the right tools to see it clearly." Whether this digital trail will indeed lead to justice for Senzo Meyiwa remains perhaps the most anxiously awaited answer in South Africa's recent criminal history. The investigation into Senzo Meyiwa's 2014 murder has reached a critical juncture as digital forensic breakthroughs reveal potentially case-altering evidence from the mobile devices of Kelly and Zandie Khumalo. Recovered communications, including deleted messages and call logs, allegedly contain timestamps, geolocation data, and cryptic references that contradict established narratives about the footballer's final hours. Law enforcement sources indicate these digital breadcrumbs, meticulously reconstructed from cloud backups and cellular records, suggest coordinated communications between Khumalo sisters and persons of interest shortly before and after the shooting. The most damning findings include a series of brief calls between Kelly Khumalo's number and a suspect device in the murder's immediate aftermath, now reinterpreted as potential alibi coordination rather than innocent contacts as previously believed. Authorities credit their breakthrough to a protected witness who provided access to a previously undiscovered iCloud account containing years-old data that places both sisters in direct communication with key figures around the time of Meyiwa's death. Cell tower records allegedly corroborate these digital interactions, while contradicting some witness statements about movements that evening. However, legal experts caution that the evidence remains circumstantial without physical corroboration, noting defense teams will likely challenge its admissibility based on privacy violations and chain of custody issues, given the 9-year delay in recovery. Particular scrutiny falls on Zandie Khumalo's inconsistent accounts of the shooting sequence, with investigators now re-examining all crime scene evidence through the lens of these digital revelations. The Meyiwa family maintains cautious optimism about finally achieving justice, though after numerous investigative false starts over the years, they refrain from premature celebration. Their restrained hope mirrors broader public sentiment in a case that has become emblematic of South Africa's struggles with high-profile, unsolved crimes. The Hawks investigative unit reportedly prepares for imminent arrests, though prosecutors face immense pressure to build an airtight case that can withstand both legal challenges and intense public scrutiny. Legal analysts observe this case could set important precedents for digital evidence admissibility in South African courts, particularly regarding recovered data from years-old cloud backups and its interpretation years after creation. Kelly and Zandie Khumalo continue maintaining their innocence through legal representatives, who dismiss the new evidence as investigators desperately reshaping old data to fit a failing narrative. Civil liberties advocates echo concerns about over-reliance on potentially out-of-context digital artifacts, while forensic experts counter that modern data recovery techniques can reliably reconstruct historical digital footprints. As the National Prosecuting Authority works around the clock evaluating whether to bring charges, the case has become a high-stakes test of South Africa's criminal justice system's ability to solve politically and emotionally charged cold cases using evolving digital forensic capabilities. Nearly a decade after a gunman's bullet stole one of South African football's brightest stars, the truth about Senzo Meyiwa's murder may finally emerge from the digital shadows where it has hidden for years. This case now represents more than just a pursuit of justice for one man. It has become a referendum on South Africa's ability to harness technological advances to solve its most vexing crimes, a test of whether truth can triumph over time, and a measure how far the nation's justice system has evolved since those dark hours in Vosloorus. As investigators piece together their final case, the nation waits anxiously to learn whether this digital trail will finally lead to the closure that has eluded them for so long, or whether Meyiwa's killing will remain another painful question mark in South Africa's troubled history of unresolved high-profile crimes. The weight of this moment hangs heavy, not just over the courtroom where this case may soon play out, but over the collective conscience of nations still yearning for answers.